Hey everybody, I just want to start by saging and cleansing this area, and I hope y'all are having a good day. So today is focused intention for our tarot reading is for those who are going through a rough time, whether it's specifically the dark night of the soul or just feeling vulnerable and feeling like no one understands. I have a message from Spirit for you. So Spirit, I kindly invoke you for the highest truth. There are messages in this reading that I'm asking for specifically for those who are going through the dark night of the soul, or they just need encouragement, or they need a message and they feel like nothing is going right. What messages can you give for these people? To give them hope. I invite you in this reading. Thank you. Alright, let's get to this. Messages for people who feel vulnerable and need answers, or want answers, or looking for answers, going through the dark night of the soul. Thank you. It's going to be a very trying time, being the fact that this is what's popping up. So a part of it is opening up your heart to possibilities and being patient with yourself and being kind and knowing that it's not going to happen forever. A lot of times we look at norms that have been placed upon us or behaviors that have been placed upon us that no longer resonate with us in our hearts, that we're expanding our hearts to open up to every possibility and every type of thought pattern. You are seeing things that hurt you emotionally and you make you feel vulnerable, and it makes you feel terrified. It makes you feel upset. This heartbreak isn't a heartbreak per se of other people or breaking up with people, whether it's a partner, a family member, a best friend, a friend in general, a social group. This is saying that you're moving on with your life because a lot of people don't see your value. You don't see your value right now. So all this pain you are going through is a reason to make you feel vulnerable. It's to open you up to possibilities that are coming in later on. So this emergence of the wand with the pentacles, I really feel like even though it's a balance right now because of the fact that pentacles, wands, and swords popped up, what I really get off of this is just be patient. Go through it, allow yourself to feel everything, but don't dwell in that, because when you dwell in your emotional state, you get moody. And this is saying just be patient and practice your utmost. What you know is like stick to your guns, is stick to this place. But I'm also hearing that some of you are imagining some things where you're exaggerating, like, oh my god, my pain is unbearable, I'm this and that, and it's like ripping a band-aid off, if that makes any sense. So just be patient with yourself and allow you to get through, because it comes out in stages. It's not always going to be like this, you know. You're not just gonna dive in the deep end if you can't swim per se. Encouraging messages for those going through the dark night of the soul. Thank you. Encouraging messages for those going through the dark night of the soul. You have decisions to make, but don't allow yourself to be caught up in illusionary practices. So there are some things that I'm seeing with this that maybe you wanted for a while, but you didn't get. So I'm hearing that it's not completely off the table. It will align you to the right possibilities. You just have to get through what is blocking that. So some of you really have to refigure, like, what do you really want? For some of you, I really felt like if you lost love, it's gonna find you, but it may not be with the person that you want it with. It could be someone totally different that gives you the love that you wanted to give the person, but it's like tenfold, you know? Yeah. So right now it's like thoughts are running deep, and a lot of you don't want to speak about it. And if you do, it's like you feel like you want to be ridiculed. And so you've made the decision to maybe possibly just stop. So you're getting in touch with your spiritual side, whether this is through religion, faith, practices like yoga, meditation, crystal shopping, talking to people, reaching out to people on forums or on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, things like that. You're like curious, I'm saying, by nature. So it's not like wishy-washy behavior. You're just like breaking away from a set pattern to move over here because of the fact that you feel more inclined to do so. You feel more wholesome. So with this, it's like your mind is shut off. This is what I'm hearing with this King of Swords, is like your mind is like starting to shut off and allow part of your heart and your soul to come out, your intuition to come out. So some of you may be freaked out about hearing thoughts that you never heard before, or patterns of behavior, or doing things that freak you out. And it's as long as it's not harmful behavior, it's not self-doubting, it's not gaslighting yourself, it's not this and that. A lot of the times it's just like we get so uncomfortable with silence when we sit in it. It freaks us out because we're constantly always used to having things around us that stimulate us. So when you sit at peace with yourself and you find this 0 infinite point where it's just completely balanced and neutral, we freak out because we're like, oh, no, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I'm always supposed to hear sound. I'm always supposed to hear this, and that. And it's like when you learn to cultivate that neutrality, that balance, things don't faze you from outside stimuli. So some of you have a deception behavior, or some people may lead you astray, is what I'm hearing. And the reason I'm saying this is like, sometimes these thoughts are robbing you. So you look for outside sources. For some of you, you just feel robbed in general. Like, why am I going through this? You know what I mean? It's because there is a divine orchestrated reason. Is weighing your pros and cons. It's equality. It's finding that equilibrium. You know what I mean? To be balanced. And this is what this is saying, is some of the things, the decisions that you have made, or the decisions that will be made, or the thoughts that you are currently having, desires, illusions, practices that no longer serve you, are robbing you of this balance. And you feel that. You feel that for whatever reason, there are just things that you don't see the bigger picture. And right now you're being called to, because you're realizing that feelings towards you, or your feelings, are actually valid. You know what I mean? So it's like you are validated. And I want you to tell yourself that I am validated. I'm worth this space. I'm worth having the things that I have. I'm worth having the things that will come to me. It's just, you have to believe it. Because when you believe it, it happens. So you have a decision to make, whether you want to see it through or not. There is a decision to be made. Like, if you want a victory, you have to plan and strategize, and you have to put in the work. A lot of times people want to half-ass this. And with this being said, look, we have the Emperor and the Knight of Pentacles. So for some of you, is talking about allowing your masculine side, whether you're masculine or feminine, or you're just both, right? So this is more of the masculine side. So the feminine is more intuitive, emotion. They're secretive. So with this Emperor, is everything that is going on, right, is just to stand firm and mature about it, and allow your emotions to take place, and give yourself a safe space to feel your emotions. Because the Emperor is all about control and stability. So sometimes you have to release that control and know that this is coming. Because when you're being stubborn and stuck in one environment, you don't grow. You know, when you outgrow a situation, or you outgrow an environment, it's toxic to you. It will, diminish the things that you have grown. Like, the metaphor that I got in my head when I said that was, look at when the gold rush hit San Francisco. It was a huge boom town. It became a city, and it became overcrowded. People were not finding as much gold as they thought they would, and it wiped out indigenous peoples. It wiped out and displaced animals. It removed and brought in newness, right? but what did it lose after a while, you know? And you'll be like, well, San Francisco's a thriving city. Yeah, now, but it wasn't always like that, because eventually resources are going to dry up and people are going to move. We're seeing this now. We're seeing a diaspora of peoples going elsewhere because it's unlivable. The conditions are unlivable. And with that being said, this is what you're being called to do, is to remember and stay in your grace. You know what I mean? And stand in your authority, and don't let things bother you or get to you, because once you feel them through, you remain, you know your triggers, and you know what to do and what not to do. So I really see this is to remain firm and remain just, and remain in that positive, victorious energy that is surrounding you. For those who are going through a difficult time, maybe not, maybe not a dark night of the soul, they're vulnerable, they're emotionally at their wit's end, they feel like they're walking the plank. I feel like a lot of you have thoughts about the matter, right? But you just don't know how to plan and execute. So this is saying, like, don't allow your emotions to keep you constantly hoping for something that is not realistic, because this will talk about you're having too much of it and it's time to let it go. So thoughts need to go. You need to let things rest, because when you are thinking emotionally, meaning you are emotionally thinking with your head and not with your heart, you get yourself into trouble. And we tend to always think with our minds and our emotions in our mind, that we shut off our heart, because we're not emotionally thinking with our heart, we're thinking with our heads. And with that being said, that's why a lot of us experience a harder time regulating our emotions, because our thoughts are running amok, because we think, right? Sometimes the heart is long over a situation, but the mind will keep replaying it. And that's because of the fact that your mind cannot get over it. It has that victim mindset, right? Because it's like, there is no winner in a war when it's stalemate. There is no winner. It's, So a lot of you are just stuck in this trauma, in this fight for no reason. So you're trapped in this victim mindset, right? This, I need to recover, I need to do better, I need to do this, right? And yet you're creating an uneven cycle, and it's unbalanced, and you're just off impulsively doing whatever, and you're fighting a ghost, is what I'm hearing. And this is all you are seeing, is this plan, this strategy, this thing, that's not happening for you. So this is saying, be wise and be discerning about what you offer people, because it's conflicting, and some people will literally lead you astray, is what I get. Or information led you astray, and it's led you into conflict, that you've taken someone at their word or their face value, and it's been wrong, and it's conflicting in your mind, it's conflicting in your heart. Any messages for this reading, please? Romance angels are helping you. Let fear go now. So just remember that love will always find a way to come into your life. Whether you're ready or not, it will find you, and it will surprise you. So with that being said, with self-respect is knowing when to get involved in something and when to let go. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this reading. I hope that it helps some of you. Peace, love, and happiness. Love you guys.